All right, let's talk about something we all run into. Those tough calls where the line between what's right and what's wrong gets, kind of fuzzy. Today, we're going to build ourselves an ethical toolbox, breaking down some really practical frameworks that can help guide you through those tricky decisions.
I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? Stuck right in that gray area where it feels like every single option has some kind of downside. That's an ethical dilemma. And they're not just for philosophy class. They pop up in our lives all the time. Our goal today is to give you the tools to walk into that gray area with a lot more confidence.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down what an ethical dilemma actually is. Then, we're going to check out two really powerful models. The superstructured AAA model, think of it as our blueprint, and then Tucker's model, which is more like a moral compass. After that, we'll see which tool is right for which job, and finally, wrap it all up by talking about how to make that final conscious choice.
Okay, so what makes a regular decision an ethical one? Well, it really just comes down to impact. Pretty much any choice you make becomes an ethical one the moment it starts affecting different people in different ways. Your employees, your customers, the community. And usually it's because two important values that you hold are suddenly in conflict with each other.
So let's grab our first tool. This one comes from the American Accounting Association, or AAA. I want you to think of this as a detailed blueprint for building a really solid, defensible decision. It's a very logical 7-step process that makes sure you've covered all your bases before you make a move.
And here's exactly how that blueprint works. You start with just the facts, nothing else. Then you pinpoint the real ethical problem and the professional norms or principles at play. It's only after that that you start brainstorming what to do. You compare your options to those norms, you weigh the consequences of each, and then finally you make the call. It's designed to be really, really thorough.
Okay, so let's put this model to the test with a real-world situation. Imagine you're an auditor. You find a sketchy cash payment. You ask about it, and the client basically offers you a ton of money to just make it go away. So right there, that's step one of our model. We've established the basic facts of the case.
And that brings us right to step 4, identifying the different courses of action. When you lay it out like this, the choice seems pretty black and white, doesn't it? The auditor can either take the money and completely betray their duty, or they can refuse the bribe and do the right thing, upholding their professional integrity.
And this is where the model really starts to shine, because it makes the path forward so clear. The core professional norm from way back in step 3 is integrity, period. So when we get to step 5, only option 2 even comes close to matching that norm. Then in step 6, you weigh the consequences. Short-term personal gain with a huge risk of ruin versus doing your job and protecting your reputation and the shareholders. By the time you hit that final step, the decision isn't just obvious, it's totally defensible.
So, if the AAA model is our detailed step-by-step blueprint, our next tool is more like a quick, reliable compass. This is Tucker's model. It's not some long, drawn-out process. Instead, it's just 5 key questions you can ask to check your moral direction. And it's especially handy for big corporate decisions.
And here they are, those 5 questions. Is it profitable? Is it legal? Is it fair? Is it right? And is it sustainable? See what it does? Together, these questions force you to look at a decision from every important angle, from the bottom line in the letter of the law, all the way to its basic morality and its impact on the future.
Let's try this compass out on a new problem. A big company wants to build a new factory in a developing country. And at first glance, this thing checks all the boxes. Is it profitable? Yep. Legal? You bet. It seems fair to the locals who need jobs. It feels right because it brings growth, and it's even sustainable. An easy call, right?
Well, not so fast. Because ethical dilemmas are rarely ever that simple, are they? What happens when the context changes? What if we didn't have the whole story? And this is just a perfect example of how one new piece of information can totally flip the ethical landscape on its head. We find out the land was actually taken from a poor community. Suddenly, is it legal? Gets a lot murkier. Maybe the laws themselves are unjust. Is it fair? Is absolutely not a clear yes anymore. And is it right? Well, that's highly debatable now. Our compass is pointing in a bunch of different directions all at once.
So, Now we've got two very different tools in our toolbox, a detailed blueprint and a directional compass. Which brings us to a really important question. When do you use which one? Let's put them side by side and see.
Okay, the key thing to get here is that they serve different but complementary purposes. The AA blueprint is perfect for that structured, professional kind of analysis, where the rules and codes are pretty clear, just like with our auditor. Tucker's compass, on the other hand, is much better for debating those messy, conflicting values, like in our factory example. You could say one is all about procedure, while the other is all about principle.
So how does this all come together in the end? I mean, having these tools is one thing, but the real challenge is turning all this structured thinking into an actual, final, conscious decision. And honestly, this is probably the most important thing to take away from our whole conversation today. These frameworks, they aren't magic formulas. They don't spit out the correct answer for you. Their real power is that they force you to ask the right questions. They make you examine a problem from all sides and make your thinking transparent. They ensure that whatever you decide in the end, it's thoughtful and defensible, not just a knee-jerk reaction. So, the next time you find yourself stuck in that ethical gray area, remember you've got a toolbox ready to go, a blueprint for when you need structure and a compass for when you need direction. The only question left is, which one are you going to reach for? Thanks for joining us.